our beloved viewer of Hope Channel Uganda. You are most welcome to our show yet again, the Youth Voice Show, where we discuss issues that are pertaining to the youth and issues that affect our society at large. Today we are going to be discussing and addressing a difficult but critically important issue, one that has often been met with a lot of silence and stigma, especially in faith-based communities. And the reality of this topic is what we are here to discuss about, the reality of sexual assault among young Christians. That is our topic of discussion today. My name is Mudubira Angela, and I am the host for today's show. Together with me, I have a panel of one beautiful lady and two handsome gentlemen. Allow me introduce them before we can go into the overview of what we are going to be discussing today. On my extreme right, we have a gentleman. His name is Mugisha Alan. Alan has been one of the common faces we have on this show, and I believe if it is not your first time to see him, you've probably met him on the Youth Voice. Alan, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Next to Alan is that beautiful lady. She is called Namuli Angela. She has a very beautiful smile, and she's a very intelligent woman, by the way.
Thank you.
Angela, you're most welcome. But Angela's normally, you know,
very
very bright.
Like, it is crystal clear. And lastly, next to me is this handsome gentleman. He is called Benon. When I said handsome, he nodded the head twice. He is called Bwambale Benon.
Yeah.
I don't know why both his names start with letter B.
B squared.
B squared. We shall get to know. Bwambale Benon, it's also not his first time to be here. He is a common person that we have been seeing often here on the Youth Voice Show. You are most welcome, and thank you for being part of today's conversation.
Thank you.
Statistics tell us that sexual violence occurs at alarming rates across all communities, and among those communities, the church inclusive. Don't forget our topic of discussion is sexual assault among young Christians. You know, when you hear this topic, it sounds a little bit ironic. The fact that there is assault going on among Christians. It is a little bit ironic, but it is a sad reality. It is a bitter truth. And that is why we are going to dive into this topic. So I was saying that sexual violence takes place in a number of communities, the church inclusive, yet misconceptions about it continue to spread among the people, among the youth, and it leaves very many people isolated. It feels them feel like they are left out. They feel like they have forgotten about them. They feel like they're being blamed sometimes for things they did not.
They were coerced to do.
They have been coerced to do. So our goal today is not just to acknowledge that this experience is very, very painful, but also to shine a light on how best we can overcome it and how people can heal from sexual assault. How can we prevent it? And we are honored to have these people that are going to discuss this topic at length. And before we go any further, I want someone out there that is watching us to understand what sexual assault is. I want to start with Angela, of course. I want us to explain what sexual assault is so that someone there viewing us gets to understand it deeply.
Okay, thank you very much. Sexual assault is actually any kind of sexual contact or sexual act that happens without the person's consent. And I want to repeat, it happens without the person's clear consent. The word clear is very important because the consent has to be clear that they have said yes. Okay. And when we talk about this, we mean also that in some situations, a person may not be in position to say yes. Sometimes the person is intoxicated. Sometimes the person is too young, is disabled.
True.
Once someone remains quiet, you want to engage in sexual acts with them and they remain quiet, that's not consent.
Silence is not consent.
Silence is not consent. Thank you. And also inability to
Someone is
communicate.
surprised to hear that silence is not consent.
It's not consent. If they have remained quiet, they have not consented. And then if someone is unable to speak, they are unable. Some people. So I want to elaborate on the word consent. Consent has to be freely given. It has to be informed. What I mean by informed is I have to understand that what is going to happen to me is actually sex. You understand? And sometimes, let me say, like, a pastor will invite you to their home, and then he tells you, we are doing this, but I'm healing you. This is how I'm taking away
The
demons
pain
from
and
you.
the demons.
That's manipulation. You understand? That's not
There is no
informed.
consent.
You have consented to being healed, but did you consent to the sexual
On the
act?
method.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, Alan, what can you
Alright,
talk about?
Okay, when you talk
sexual
about
assault?
sexual assault, now we take it in perspective something great done to the wrong person. Because
Assault is-
a romantic advance made is not wrong, but who are
Really?
you making it to?
We are yet to find out.
And how are
it
you
is really
making
right.
it?
We shall see.
Okay, we are going to say
We are
about
going to
that.
see.
Okay, just to throw more light on that, I'm just giving a small example of a funny scenario of a man in court who had been taken in for that case of sexual assault. So they write down even the words that the lady used. No, stop, leave me alone. And the guy stands in objection, is like, no, that's not what happened. That's not what she said.
What?
And they're like, how did she say? The guy now narrates how the lady said it. We're talking about consent, right? Like, no, stop. Leave me alone. And yet the person is still groping on.
Oh
So,
my God.
talking about consent, is that not a no?
That is why Angela said clear consent.
Is that under the influence then?
What?
No under pleasure.
Exactly. That's,
Under pleasure.
and that's why it's hard to prove sexual assault in court because of such things. Someone can say, because these are the same words people use when they're enjoying, but also they are the same words which we are supposed
So
to use
how
when we
you
are saying
say
no.
them
But how you
matters.
say them matters. But also, if someone says, however way she has said them, if she has said them and she takes you to court, you're going to be in trouble because she said them.
Yes,
Just,
Bernard.
yeah, just
We're
to
in
add,
trouble.
they've talked about the sexual penetration, and also assault can also be in that we are giving these. I don't want to call them. I don't want to call them like comments, like I'm praising you, but there are those comments that someone is married but is telling you, if I was not married,
I would show you.
I would show you. Now, if you reply and you say, give it a try and see, it will lead. It ends up leading to the
assault.
To the assault. So there's also that verbal aspect of it that can also be a form of assault. That's what I wanted to.
Thank you so much. So I want to ask something. You've talked about sexual assault in various aspects. So let's say someone is threatening me via maybe text, and they're threatening, you know what, I will do this to you. I will rape you. So is that also sexual assault?
Yes,
It is non-verbal.
it is.
Wow. So
It
when
is.
I'm threatened by someone sexually, that means the person is sexually assaulting.
But in this,
Yeah, it is. Because even if I have not done the act, even if I have not
But
actually,
you've attempted.
but you were using the words, it's still assault. Though it may not be in the courts of law, it may be like hard to prove. But if someone has the texts and the proof, still it's punishable by law. You're assaulting me, you're threatening me. You understand?
Yes, Alan.
There are
something
three
small.
forms of what is sexual assault.
Okay.
There's the physical, me grabbing you, putting you down. There's
Okay, that is one.
there's the non-physical wording. Just because I've approached you and you've said no, I become aggressive. That's already assault.
Yeah.
It is happening a lot.
And then there's the relationship or marital,
Assault.
Assault.
Yeah.
whereby however much you are my wife, when you said no to sex that day, it's no.
Yeah.
Anything done after you saying no is an assault.
Yeah.
But now, that puts we at a disadvantage as men. Because
Okay.
by nature, by nature, we are hunters.
Hunters.
Now, when it
The
comes to,
diction in today's show. Okay.
by nature, a man is supposed to what?
To hunt.
To hunt. And when you add in the dopamine that is attached into the sexual, when the mind is sexually oriented, we become aggressive. So in that moment, that's when you say that no, under the influence of pleasure, is taken as a yes. Because there's a weird perception that a lady's no
is a yes.
is
a
a
yes.
yes.
Very weird
Which
perception.
is-
A no turns into a yes after 4 times.
And the problem with that is that even if a lady says no and she means it, and she's saying no, the guy is not going to take it.
Yeah, and then the problem also we as men, if you follow these things on how women's psychology on how to pursue a woman, they tell you, I'm quoting, they tell you that when she says no, that should like spike, should like bring up now your energy. In other words, we are told that when a woman says no, you go back and
Try
think.
harder.
In other words, the no just keeps us going.
You change the tactics.
They even tell you that if you talk to a woman and she says yes, there and then,
Pull
first
back.
time, and she says yes, pull
You
back.
I thought you people want genuine answers.
You tell me no, and then I go back to the field and I see how to play
so
best, and then
I think our viewer out there, you've understood clearly what sexual assault is, and I believe we have set a pace. We've set a ground, so whatever we are going to be talking about, you'll be knowing exactly what we are talking about. So this conversation may be a little bit uncomfortable, but it is very, very
Important.
necessary. So I beg that our dear viewer, let's commit to listening and let us follow this conversation, and we invite your thoughtful engagement in this conversation because we all learn from each other. So that said, sexual assault among young Christians. What do you think are the causes of sexual assault among young Christians? Yes, Alan.
We have a very big problem nowadays that, and it goes to the dress code. Ladies dress to call upon that. But when it is done, it becomes a crime. You can't be appetizing, Like you can't dress appetizingly when everything I'm saying is calm. And when I come, remember there's one time I was rude to some lady. I asked her how much. She said, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You're dressed like what?
A prostitute.
Like a prostitute."
That was
It was so rude.
in that moment, I was verbally assaulting her.
By the way, you would be in prison, right?
Yeah, that's why ignorance is a very bad thing, as we are going to see today.
That is why everyone needs to be very attentive.
Yeah.
Because we are all criminals here. From after this, we are going to realize that we are all criminals
I'm
in
not-
regards to that.
Let me say something about the point of dress code. When you get into the psychology of young ladies, and even all ladies at large, you will understand that the major, most important reason why women wear short things is not to attract you. Women have insecurities. Women have their own psychology, which I know men do not understand. And they keep dragging
They
on to
can't.
this point of, she's inviting me. She asked for it. She asked for it. But, and I don't dress up badly, by the way.
of course.
Yeah, you're okay.
And I'm not saying this because I am supporting the ladies that dress up badly. They are showing their whole entire, But when you sit with her and ask her, so why are you dressing like this? There are very many times you're going to find
Completely
that
different
I want to
reasons.
feel good.
so many reasons, like, I want to feel good. Her friends are dressing up like that. The social pressure. And then, well, this is the dress I can afford. I remember when I was very young, we were not very, very rich. But I kept on growing, but my clothes were not changing. You understand? I was not getting new clothes, but I was growing. And I was actually dressing up like with really short things. And that is because my clothes are not changing. You understand? So there, another guy would see me dressing up badly and saying, "You're dressing up badly. You're inviting me. You're calling me for it." But I'm not. I'm just a young girl who is just trying to figure out my clothes. You understand? So I don't. And sometimes women will dress up like that to invite that, but not everybody.
What other causes could you say, the causes of sexual assault among young Christians? Because we do not expect young Christians to be in such things. In a normal perspective, when someone says, "Oh, I'm a Christian," we don't expect some things. But what do you think? Where is it coming from?
Angela, it's being in the wrong place at the wrong time. There is that point I learned when I was in primary. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time. A teacher has told you, "Take my books to class." You're taking it. The pastor has told you, like,
Meet me in the verse
let me
street.
tell you something. If you only meet the pastor at church, where is he going to sexually assault you from and rape you? You understand? And if you're meeting him at church and the whole congregation is there and everyone is there, but since you are like in this place where, let me say, pastors dress up from, you're there with the pastor alone, he might do the thing. You understand? Or if you are like with your friends and you're just keeping around the boys and,
I want to believe that sometimes people exploit our vulnerability.
Yeah.
So you find this desperate young girl who has been maybe on the streets, and then they find this man of God, this preacher, this evangelist. I don't know how you call them, by the way, in your Christian settings.
Papa.
But they find the papa, apostle, pastor, I don't know, whatever. A deacon, this head of department, this, I do not know.
Yeah.
So this child is going to look at this person as their idol, They look up to them. And by the way, these people don't come with such intentions at first. They be so good. They change their clothes. They give you new life. They tell you you're going to find new life in Christ.
Yeah.
So this girl is submissive. She is so innocent. She comes to church to find peace, to find relief. And then at the end of the day, this man is going to exploit that vulnerability to an extent that the girl will be like, "Now, if I say no, where am I going to sleep? If I say no, what am I going to do?" Don't you think that at some point it's not about even the people who are assaulted, but even those that assault?
That brings about also another cause, which is the rewards. And these days we have looked for money, we have looked for children. You've been in marriage for some years and you don't have a child, and then you look for someone to go and pray for you, and you get that child, and from there, things turn the way they turn. And then, so there was a video that was circulating, and this guy was inviting people to go and pray in a bush for 30 days. To go and pray in a bush for 30 days. No what? No bra.
Phones,
no phone, no bra.
Bras.
Hey, no phone, no bra.
No knickers.
No knickers. And people are buying the
Seriously?
idea.
I need
People
to
are
know
buying,
that who that God is again.
the people who are buying the idea, I'll share the video of that. People are buying the idea, and people are going for that. Now here, this person is looking for the reward.
Yeah.
But clearly, when you, unless you're blind, but clearly when you see, I mean, we're going to a forest for 30 days, no bra, no what. We're going to pray
And praying
so that
in the
you get,
forest itself is weird.
so that you get the riches or whichever that you want. And when you reach there, eventually the person who has organized this thing wants something. And when you reach there, things are different. I also believe that is also a certain form and cause of sexual assault.
Thank you so much. Alan, you look like you want to say something.
I'm like, okay, in addition to this, there are two things that actually lead, because being assaulted, sometimes it's usually high percentage is someone you know, someone you trust.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that, as men, let me first use we as an example. We have that desire to be trusted in a relationship, to be trusted by people around us. That's why every time a man asks you, "But do you trust me?" But once we secure that trust of the person, how you use it is what matters. Because this person is going to allow to be vulnerable around you because they trust you. That's why you find a case whereby an uncle has assaulted a nephew, something that you don't expect. Sometimes even a father can. A person you trust in the community, be it an elder, be it a renowned person. But because you trusted this person and gave them your safe space, and when you give them that safe space, they feel like, it seems this looks like a yes. Okay?
And sexual assault is about, like you were saying, it's about control. And most times, people who assault others, they have like power or authority, and
about
they are
power,
using
not desire.
that. It's about power, not desire.
desire.
Thank you so much. It's not that this person loves you so much that they are going to rape you. No. They have the power over you, and that's what they are going to use to actually, you understand. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's about so much the victim. So she might be in the wrong place, she might be dressing up badly, but the
That
fact
is
that
not justifiable enough
it's not
for you to assault them because
them.
they're dressing like the way
Thank
they
you.
are.
It's more about the assaultant. Is that the word? The one who is doing the thing.
True.
It's more about them. They have the power. They believe they can do it, and they're going to do it whether you consent or no. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is getting very, very interesting, and I believe we are learning a lot.
Yeah.
I remember I tried to write something about sexual assault. Like, this topic is too emotional to me. Like, I even stopped. It was halfway. I couldn't complete it because I felt like I do not even have the right words that I can use to express that pain. And very many young people are dying in silence out there in our congregations, in churches, worship spaces, mosques, places of work. Very many young people are dying in silence because they have been assaulted by this person who is maybe their breadwinner.
Yeah.
This person is their pastor. This person is maybe their priest.
The employer.
This person is their employer. Like, how can you go against it? We've seen scenarios of fathers assaulting their children.
Yeah.
And it is very touching.
The betrayal.
That betrayal. And what hurts even more is the fact that the person who has been assaulted can't speak out.
Yeah.
And so they keep dying in silence. The topic is too emotional. Let's check the final.
Some of us, but
Some of you are.
But like, before we go into that, like, what are the forms? Like, is touching, because the extreme is actually touching, having sex with a person. But there are these, let me say, holding your hand without your permission, touching your thighs and all that.
All of it. Touching, kissing, groping, that thing.
As long as
Someone
there
is
is no
passing around
consent.
and you grab them. That thing, forcing someone to watch sexual content, or doing it with someone who is asleep, they're unconscious, they are under the influence, and it can be, anyone can be a victim, a woman, a man, and a child. So even grown
By
women
the
can
way,
actually be
sometimes when we
assaulted.
talk about sexual assault, people look at the ladies.
Only women.
Maybe there are men there who have been sexually assaulted.
And they can't speak because of the stigma.
They're like, I'm a man. How do I start
Start
saying
saying
I
it.
was raped?
Like, what, when, where, how? Like,
How did it even happen?
But it
because
and it
society
hurts.
has that perception.
Yeah. But all of it, everything, even texting, everything. And it still hurts the same way. Because imagine your father sending you sexual content on your phone.
It's very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, our dear viewer, we have elaborated what sexual assault is. You could be a victim and you're suffering with that problem of sexual assault. Maybe you have been assaulted and you fear to speak out. It is something that has eaten up your mental health. You cannot speak about it. You do not have anyone to speak it. But we want to tell you that no one has a right to assault you, no matter how you are dressed, no matter how responsible they are on your life, no matter what they give you, no matter what they do to you, no matter how much responsible they are to you.
Yeah.
No one has the right to sexually assault you. And as young Christians, let's try as much as we can to avoid spaces that are going to put us at risk of being sexually assaulted. At least let's not bring it to ourselves. Know your limits, know your boundaries when you're around people. Try to set those boundaries so that you do not become a victim.
Exactly.
We are going to come back in our next segment of this discussion, and we are going to cast more light on this vice or this problem of sexual assault. We are going to see how people can recover. People that are already wounded, how are they going to overcome this challenge? How are they going to come back in the society stronger? And what is society supposed to do to welcome back these people? So we are going in for a very short break. This is the Youth Voice Show. Keep it Hope Channel. A system that protects predators rather than prey is not justice, it is conspiracy. Welcome back from that very short break. This is the Youth Voice Show, and we are discussing a very, very important topic, sexual assault among young Christians. In our first segment of our discussion, we looked at what sexual assault is. We looked at the forms of sexual assault, who is sexually assaulted, and why are they assaulted. So in this particular segment, during the break, there is something that crossed my mind, and I felt like it is important information that we should pass on. When someone is sexually assaulted, then what next? Do I go in my bed and cry? Do I sit back and lament forever? Do I make a pity party? What do I do if I've been assaulted? What am I supposed to do so that at least to reduce on the consequences of being sexually assaulted? I want us to start with this particular discussion. I want to start with Angela here. What do I do? What does the person out there when they're assaulted?
Thank you very much for that question. It's a very important question. And I was just thinking, like, it's very funny because we don't know what to do. And very many of us, both male, females, old men, and women, we all don't know what to do when you get sexually assaulted. But this is the first thing, especially if there has been penetration and there has been force and it was really bad. The first thing, you need to leave the scene immediately, because the offender is likely to do worse. First of all, when any opportunity you get, you need to leave the scene immediately. Sometimes sexual offenders also murder their victims.
True.
They might do other things I don't want to talk about, but you need to leave as soon as you can. Another thing is to preserve evidence. You don't shower.
Don't shower.
Don't shower. However much you feel like you want to shower, don't shower. And pick some kind of evidence from him. If possible, a hair. Maybe you scratch him and go with some of his skin in the nails. You need to, maybe bed sheets, maybe something. And you run away with that because you need justice. Another, when you go, immediately after that, you need to go to the hospital immediately. Immediately. A clinic, a hospital. Why? At that place, they're going to take a forensic report, which you will use at the police. Every person who has experienced sexual assault needs and deserves justice. It is their right. So you have to go with some evidence to the hospital. And when you reach the hospital, first of all, they are going to do for you 4 things. And you need to count them. If they miss any, the consequences are too many. First, you need to get preventative drugs for HIV. It's called PEP. They'll first of all do an HIV test for you, and if you're negative, they will give you PEP. If you're positive, they will start you on the medication, okay? And then the next thing, they have to give you contraceptives. That's if you're female. They have to give you emergency contraceptives. It's very important. Who wants to keep a baby of a rapist? It's like keeping something that will remind you of that scenario every time.
Sure.
Another thing is you have to receive treatment for any other injuries. They might have boxed you in the face, they might have kicked you. You have to receive treatment. The other one is they have to collect the forensic evidence. You allow the doctors to collect, if they need to collect some samples from down there, if they need to collect, you show them as much as you can. If you have that behind your head, don't clean it. It's all evidence that you've been assaulted. So keep it and let the doctor find you. The doctor is the only one who will do the forensic exam. Then after that, you need to go to the police. After they've collected your evidence, you can now go maybe shower, and then you go to the police. After that, you need to get psychological and emotional support from a counselor. Most of the times, the thing that we forget about sexual assault is the trauma, the emotional trauma,
that
the
comes along with
psychological.
it.
Thank you. And yet, it's the biggest consequence. So we need that so much.
Thank you so much. That is very, very insightful. Not very many people, by the way, know what to do when they are sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
We've seen people in our community that are living with consequences of being assaulted. Like they were raped and they chose to keep quiet simply because how will society know that I was raped? How will I tell my parents that I've been raped by my dad? How will my friends see? How will they see me? How can I move out of this room like with bruises? I have scratches around my neck. How do I walk? How is everyone going to see me? And that is very challenging. So thank you so much, Angela, for enlightening the people. At least someone knows what do you do when you have been assaulted. The mistake we make is that immediately you get assaulted, you're like, kangende ku police, kangende mpabe. You go home, bathe, and go to the police. So they ask you what shows you were assaulted.
And there is
There nothing. And then we end up saying, they have not done enough. I've not got justice. So all those are things that we must put into consideration.
Yeah.
Talking about that has made me want us to talk about the consequences. The consequences that come along with being sexually assaulted. What are those consequences? I want to start with Benon and then Alan.
Yeah, so before we come to the consequences, let me just add something small to what to do. Now, there are certain things that can lead to that assault. That can lead to that assault. For example, bad touches from a respected. Let's say you have a mentor, and you are the mentee, and then while you're having those sessions, someone is trying to behave weirdly.
Yeah.
It's also important that you walk away from such a space. If possible, report. Don't fear some other image of the church, some other image of this person. Please speak up.
Yeah.
Then when you come to consequences, I want to share a simple story. There was a certain girl. So she was, how life gets hard and you end up doing prostitution to get something to eat. But this girl she had somehow been nurtured by the church. And so she had how you can be in a primary school of the church and you have experienced that worship experience. And so she starts this prostitution to get, things that can keep her going throughout education. Now, how you go Friday for work. Of course, for work, the prostitute goes for work, and then you come back Saturday morning to sleep and prepare for the next day. So she would go Friday, Vespers. She passes through that place. They were singing Vespers, so someone should stand and listen to the what? And listen to the people singing. And such Sabbath morning, when she's returning, she would stand and listen to that melody. Now, someday she decides to go like, no, today let me just go and sit in where? In church. Yeah, so she sat in church, slowly by slowly, to cut the story short, she started changing, and she became a member. Now, when ninth hour of prayer, she tells her story, and people get to know. Immediately after people got to know, they got her contact, and they were now sending the text. So like how you used to do for the other people, you can also do it for me.
That is so
that you can also do it for me, like how you used to you know. And these were people in church, deaconesses
True.
and
That
elders.
we expect to help this person recover from that trauma.
Yeah. So she was explaining as to why she left the faith, why she left the church, because of what happened to her. So that's one of the consequences. Someone can end up leaving the faith, and there's somewhere in Ezekiel where God says, if someone, in other words, if someone leaves something, then the hands will be on you. It will not be on me. It will rather be on you. And I don't think it's nice you being the cause that someone leaves a faith or someone leaves a certain congregation. So that's one of the consequences, in that someone is going to leave, that is going to fall down spiritually. And then
A little bit, I'm sorry for cutting you short, but before we get to that consequence, he has talked about something that is equally important. How do we react when we are informed by these people that have been assaulted? What do we do as a community? What do we do as the church? Do we judge these people? Do we push them further into the pit where they are coming from? You know, God hears the cry of the oppressed.
Yeah.
But do we? The question is,
Do we?
Do we hear the cry of the oppressed? So when that person comes to you, please be a shoulder to lean on. Help them overcome that trauma. Don't be the reason they are going back into the vice where they have been. Please proceed.
Yeah, and then there's also now the mental aspect of it. You know, a church member or someone you trust has done this to you. You're fearing to speak because you want to protect the image of the person or the image of the church. Yet it's eating you up. You can, if you're not grounded very well, you can end up having a mental illness. So there's also that consequence, and of course the diseases and the injuries. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, Alan, what other consequences do you think are there?
Sexual assault has many consequences that are actually long-term. But I'll share a small example on my side. I think it was in high school. A newcomer comes in from a single-sex school. I was this socialite at school.
As usual.
Free with everyone. Celeb in all level.
I hear
so
celeb.
N-level. So this guy, I won't mention the name and the school, but he becomes too close to me. In dormitory, the person comes and checks on you. In chapel, he always books here a seat. And then I want to bring out the example of how should I say? Both action-packed and non-action. So the guy starts being nice. Now he advances into the touching bit. Caressing you. You're in dormitory. You're in dormitory, yeah. You're in dormitory Sunday evenings. Those are in boarding, Sunday evenings usually are dull. The person insists on coming to my cubicle. To a point of when a fellow man starts appreciating you. By the way, you're cute. You're a cute guy. Remember, he's this big guy. He's big. Where he was studying before, he was in the rugby team. So you can. And as me, you say, like that. It's a small guy, So he started becoming uncomfortable.
Yeah.
After second term. And then the guy becomes now aggressive because I'm now distancing myself due to fear.
Yeah, you're uncomfortable.
Remember, you don't know what to do. That's the first thing about this.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what to do. Who do I report to?
Yeah, and you don't want to be rude.
You don't want to be rude to the person.
People to term
He's a friend.
Yeah.
When people say us, even if it's in private, because now the person insisted on private meetings. After preps, like you see someone getting onto you, you don't know how to get rid of them, you don't know how to push them off.
Away.
You're in a state of confusion. Okay? By the time these 2 years ended, I developed a fear towards this person.
Yeah.
I'd become so uncomfortable that it even affected my relationships with girls because the guy was everywhere.
All over you.
The person starts talking. Okay? So, one of the effects that I learned in that, first of all, silence. When you're silent about something like that, you draw away from society. Because now you may feel like this one may do what this one has done.
Yeah.
Okay? That's one effect. Another one is what we call PTSD, but as Africans we say that everybody be abazungu. But once you're traumatized by someone in an emotional state, you decide to get away from.
Never remain the same.
You have to reach out for help, but who helps? And that's one of the things that promotes is that there are no traumatic services that are given. Whereby, yes, for all I'm to talk to a teacher that this is happening, he'll be like, they just bring him, they give him 10 strokes, they let it be.
That is if they cane him.
That's
anyway.
if at all they even believe you.
If they believe you, they might expel him, but then for you, remain with your trauma.
And I believe that still goes on, and it still kills people in silence. You find someone committing suicide, but you don't know why.
You don't know why.
This was a happy soul. But moving on from the consequences is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes
Thank
to
you so much
our
for-
Christian space.
for that sharing, Alan. Actually, we are here, and I don't know, somehow this crossed my mind. So what of these people that, especially the men, they do that often when they're seated in their spaces and they're like, I had sex with that babe. Like, talking about someone like that
like
when it is not
that.
right. So is that also sexual assault?
If they're there.
Is it assault? If I get to know this gentleman is talking with his friends in their
About
space
you.
about me, is that sexual assault?
That's a lie now. It's a lie. I mean, he's telling a lie.
That's ego.
But
That's
he's
building ego.
But he's maybe like turning your name. It's called
Tarnishing your
your
name.
name. It's called.
I think it may not have like a legal name, but it's morally wrong because, it's hard for us to say now he was talking about, but really it's wrong because they can even say how they did not enjoy the thing with you and it's embarrassing for you and I don't know. It's just bad. It's disgusting actually.
I get. So having seen the consequences of sexual assault, we want to see how does someone break free from sexual assault? How do they heal, especially when there is a constant reminder of the act? Let's look at children who have been raped by pastors, by religious people, and they have given birth. They didn't know what to do, like Dr. Namuli told us, and somehow, somewhere, they gave birth. How are they going to heal when there is a constant reminder that, you know what, I am a product of rape.
That.
You were raped. You have this kid because
You were raped.
Because you were raped. Like, how does someone heal from this sexual assault without leaving the church, without them moving outside of the church? What can you tell that young person out there? How can they be helped? What do they have to do to make sure that they remain Christians and at the same time they heal mentally, emotionally, fully, completely?
So before I get into that answer, I wanted to give some other consequences, some other bad things. I won't call them bad things because they are bad, which come out of that sexual assault, and they're usually emotional and psychological. First of all, there is so much that trauma does to your mind, the psychological.
Sure.
It causes a lot of fear and shame and guilt. Very many people who have been sexually assaulted, you will find them saying it's their fault. But is it their fault? No, they never wanted it, but they think it's their fault. They feel guilty. They are confused. They have anxiety and depression, and it's a very common thing. You find very many of them even committing suicide. They have anger issues and the PTSD that my brother Alan was talking about. They have difficulty trusting people. They have fear of intimacy. You find that their sexuality...
They fear
in the future.
to be in a sexual relationships
with, and some of them even go to the unnatural sexual relationships, like we said, because of their abuser. And they also have risky coping behaviors like alcohol and using drugs. And children, actually, this one I wanted to talk about it because how do you tell that your child has been sexually abused? Because children may not react like us. So if it is very hard for me to understand that Benon was abused, what about a child? And children do not even have a name for it. Sometimes they don't even know what it is. So when you ask,
Uncle touched me.
Uncle did this, sometimes they think it's a game because Uncle was like, this is our special game, don't tell anyone.
Actually, I watched a video of a parent that was teaching their baby their private parts. So she kept on singing a song and touching the private parts and telling the baby, no one should touch them,
this.
no one should feel them, no one should see them. So if we groom our children from a young age when we are teaching them that you need your privacy, no one should encroach on your privacy.
Exactly.
When they do so, talk to someone
Say
about
no and
it.
report. It's not okay. So when children get sexually abused, sometimes they regress in their behavior. If the child was walking, talking, laughing, running, they regress. They start sitting alone, isolating themselves, not talking. A child, today they might be talking, tomorrow you find your child is quiet. Those things of, these days, mwana muombe for...
Mwana msirise wa mpisa.
No. You have to find out why. Because more often than not, that child has been abused or has been traumatized in any other way. And then another special population is men. They will not talk, they will not speak, but they are hurting and they've been abused. Sometimes it's even continuous. So they also, we need to put them into consideration. But the one solution I can give for everything is seeking counseling. And there are so many organizations. I try to write down some of them. But when you Google, you will find them. Their contacts, it's literally information on the web.
True, it's open out
like
there.
Google, an organization, if they are there, you get their contact, call them, and ask for what? For counseling session. They are free, by the way, for that. They are free. When you get the help, you will go for a few sessions, not one or two. They will tell you how many sessions you will need, and then you start to heal and actually heal completely, yeah.
Thank you so much, Angela. Yes, Alan.
One of the best ways is actually reporting this case. You are protected, but our problem is that you are ignorant. According to the Constitution, there's a whole penal code, 120, whereby Section 123 puts rape at life imprisonment for the person who has done it. Then 129, Section 129, for the case of that one is rape, this one is defilement. It goes for at maximum of 18 years. So the problem is that we do not know. We do not know our rights. And that's why you need to be educated.
Thank you so much. And then lastly, Benon, we're coming to the close of our discussion.
Yeah, so first and foremost, when you are being like abused, it gives you some sort of comfort when the person who has done, in other words, when you get justice.
True.
Yeah, so when you get justice, somehow, somewhere, you feel
better.
Yeah, you feel better.
Yeah.
Now, dealing with the consequences, you've gotten pregnant, you've gotten, even the child has come. I think through counseling and guidance, you need to accept, it has happened to me, and this child has come, and it's also my child.
And it is a process.
Yeah,
It's
It will
it's
take
also my
time
child.
to
Yeah.
heal.
Yeah, so someone says time heals, so
True.
pola, slowly by slowly, you find yourself comfortable.
I want to
But
go
you just
against
stood-
Benoni's statement of time heals. Time doesn't heal. Time only buries our emotional wounds. What is going to heal you is actually seeking for help, getting a supportive environment, opening up to someone who is actually going to support you and listen to you. Let you cry on their shoulder. Then you are healing. But keeping quiet and hoping time will heal you, it buries and then
True.
yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much, our panelists, for today. And as we close today's discussion, I'm reminded of the words in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18. Allow me read them. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So if you feel like you are low, you feel like you have been overburdened by this problem of sexual assault, please remember that the Lord is near you. And what we've had today in this discussion clearly confirms that sexual assault is not just a secular issue, but it is a human issue. And it demands the church's attention. It demands action to be taken upon. It requires that it is our responsibility as a church. It is our responsibility as individuals. So our panelists have talked about various truths that we have seen, and the survivors of sexual assault need to be believed. They need to be heard. They do not need to be burdened. They need to be helped, because we need those people. So let's try to make room for justice and healing. Sometimes we prioritize only justice and forget about healing. So to our dear viewers that have watched this show today, if you are a leader, make sure that you do something in your church to make sure that sexual assault comes to an end. And if you are a friend or a family member, learn how to support people who have been victims without silencing them. Remember, we must take sides, because if we remain neutral, it is an advantage to the oppressor and never the victim. So let's learn how to support those people without silencing them. And lastly, if you are a survivor, know that you're not alone and your voice matters, and you're not defined by what happened to you, because you can be a better person. So let's not live here just touched or maybe getting emotional about this topic, but let's create awareness in our communities. Let's create safe spaces for people that have been victims of this. So thank you so much, our dear viewers. Thank you, our panelists, for taking courage to come and discuss such a very crucial and important matter. This is the Youth Voice Show. Do not forget to always keep it Hope Channel Uganda. My name is Mundubira Angela, and I've been the host. Today we have been discussing sexual assault in young Christians. Till we meet again next time.